So, in part one of the no wash, I'm required to use the grease pencil to label 2 tubes of no wash, 2 tubes of quick wash, and 2 tubes of good wash. And I do have on my lab apron as well. And this is me showing that I labeled all of them. So for the no wash, I shook the bottle of Germ Glow and I applied a quarter sized amount, and I am rubbing my hands together, getting between my fingers, the back of my hands, and just making sure I mix it all good. Now it said take a transfer pipette and transfer 3 milliliters of tap water from the beaker to the test tube in the no wash box. So I'm doing that for both tubes. And it's also still daytime when I'm doing this experiment, so I did try to get my house as dark as I could, even with the blinds closed. And now I'm using the UV light to look at the contamination areas, and I'm going to write down the areas that I found contaminated on my laptop. And just making sure I get all the areas and just making sure that I didn't miss anything. Okay, and for the quick wash, it said to wash my hands like I normally do, so I'm just showing you that I used liquid soap, and now I'm just washing my hands normally. All right, and it said transfer the water from the pipette to the test tube and 3 milliliters again. And I'm using the quick wash test tubes. And now I'm going to use the UV light to look at the areas to see if they're contaminated. It said to make sure I'm using the UV light on the test tubes, the pipettes, and the tube rack. And I also checked the soap because I did touch the soap. Okay, now for good wash, it's said to reapply the Glow Germ as described in part 1. So I reapplied a pea-size amount or a dime-size amount, and I'm making sure to get it between my fingers, fingernails, palms, back of hands, just everywhere, and making sure I do that good. And then it gave me a technique to wash my hands. So it said to make sure your hands are in front of you over the sink, and to apply the liquid soap to your hands. And to avoid contamination, I had to use a paper towel to turn the sink on. And then I applied the soap in my hands, making sure my hands are pointing downwards, and making sure to get the back of my hands and my fingernails and fingers. And then it said to use the brush to clean each of your fingernails, which was new for me because I've never did that before. So I used the brush to clean each of my fingernails, and then I rinsed my hands and I dried my hands with a paper towel, making sure to turn the sink off with the paper towel as well. And now I'm using the UV light to go over the same areas.